Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us here today. Javier Becerra, Attorney General for the great state of California, and I'm joined by a number of our leaders from the state, and I'd like to just quickly introduce them. And I think I have a list of all the members who are here. A few may come in, but I hope I have the whole list. And then I will introduce the three other individuals who will actually make remarks. All of the members who are here will be available to take questions when we open it up for questions. Let me start off by introducing the members who are here who are not going to be making opening remarks. Senator Hannah Beth Jackson, Senator Holly Mitchell, Senator Nancy Skinner, Assembly Member Laura Friedman, Assembly Member Eloise Reyes. Did I miss anybody? Assembly Member Monique Limon. Assembly Member Wendy Carrillo. Good? Okay. And then speaking, and in this order, will be Senator Connie Leyva, Assembly Member Sidney Kamlager Dove, Planned Parenthood CEO and President Crystal Strait, and then we'll go to questions after the four of us make our opening remarks. So we're standing here united, and that's important to say. As Californians, we're standing here united to protect women's access to life-saving health care, as once again the Trump-Pence administration takes aim at women's access to birth control and safe and legal abortion care. Title X programs that the Trump administration is threatening are critical lifelines for 1 million patients here in the state of California and to 4 million Americans throughout our country. These programs help women and families access cancer screenings, preventative care, family planning services, including birth control, and many other health care services. But lately, the Trump-Pence administration has tried to make it harder, not easier, for a woman to access the care that she needs. This war on women continues with new attacks now on the Title X programs that are so vital to so many families in our country, and attacks on the doctors who provide the care. The new rules from the Trump-Pence administration that have been released as of Tuesday impose a domestic gag rule on women's health care providers. The rules bar providers from making referrals for abortion. Providers are also banned from providing a woman the full range of health care needs that woman may have in one particular stop, one particular health care facility, and would make it very difficult, therefore, for women to be able to get the services they need at the time they're available to get them. Make no mistake, this is a systematic effort by this administration to end access to birth control and safe, legal abortion. But California is standing up to say, we're not turning back the clock. Today, the California Department of Justice sent a letter to the Trump administration to urge them to withdraw this harmful rule. And we also outlined what's at stake for so many California families under this rule. Our letter is just the latest in California's efforts to protect access to affordable care no matter who you are. Just last week, the California Department of Justice stood with Planned Parenthood in opposition to the Trump-Pence administration's new rule for Title X providers. That rule favors facilities that provide very little, very limited medical care and information to patients. California led a coalition of 20 attorneys general in filing an amicus brief in support of a lawsuit brought by Planned Parenthood and the National Family Planning and Reproductive Health Association. We jumped into this fight because medical care is a matter between a woman and her doctor, not between politicians and bureaucrats. We will not accept any decision from Washington that prevents a woman from getting care at Planned Parenthood, like birth control and cancer screenings, or which would, in some parts of the country, leave women without access to a health care provider, period. In California, we will defend a woman's right to health care anywhere it is threatened. And our record here in California speaks for itself. We stopped the Trump administration from rolling back rules that aim to deny women birth control under the Affordable Care Act, and we won't stop fighting to protect every woman's right, every American's right to access quality, affordable health care. With that, let me now turn it over to one of the champions in this fight, Senator Connie Leyva.
Thank you, Attorney General Becerra. Well, let me start by saying I cannot believe that it is 2018, that I am 51 years old, and we are still fighting this fight to make sure that women have access to care. But guess what? Fight we will. So just when we think that the Trump administration can't do much else to deny Californians their fundamental rights to protections, we see once again that we need to continue to fight and we need to continue to resist. Recent attacks on women's basic rights will limit the ability of Californians to access critical health care services, such as STD testing and treatment, birth control, and even cancer screenings. As the vice chair of the Women's Caucus and a staunch supporter of women's rights and health, it is unconscionable to me that anyone would want to roll back these fundamental rights of women and their health care. Here in California, Title X programs serve a quarter of Title X patients nationwide. Clearly, the impacts of the Trump administration's actions will be felt most intensely here in California. And California women and families will therefore suffer the most. Title X helps to ensure that everyone, regardless of where they live and their background, have access to basic health care. Make no mistake, this is a blatant attack on women. The Trump administration seeks to create a domestic gag rule in order to continue to undermine our constitutionally protected right under Roe v. Wade. If women can't talk and get the medical accurate information they need from their doctors about their health care options, where exactly are they supposed to get that information? I am pleased to stand here today with Attorney General Becerra, my fellow Democratic Women's Caucus members, Planned Parenthood, NARAL, and other advocates to show that we will not back down. Thank you, Javier, for having our back. We appreciate it. Californians deserve better than what they're getting. California women deserve better than what they're getting. With that, I am pleased to introduce Assemblymember Cam Lager-Dove to make a few remarks.
Thank you, and thank you all for being here today to tell the federal administration that we will not stand back while they strip women of their basic health care rights. Women and our right to make decisions about our bodies, our families, and our health care are under attack. Title X is the nation's program for affordable birth control and reproductive health care. The program is available to help ensure that every person, regardless of where they live, their income, their background, or whether or not they are insured, has access to basic, preventative, reproductive health care, such as birth control, cancer screenings, STD testing, and treatment. This national program, as was mentioned, serves 4 million people each year, and California serves 25% of Title X patients nationwide. This administration's decision is a dangerous departure for the successful Title X program that provides affordable birth control for more than 1 million Californians. Title X also provides access to free or low sexually transmitted disease testing. We want California to be number one, but not in STDs. California has seen a 45% increase in STDs over the past 5 years, setting record highs in each of the last 3. This new rule would be taking away affordable health care rights when we need it the most. This administration's agenda is to stop medical providers from performing abortions, starting with Planned Parenthood. And we know what happens when abortions aren't legal. Women die. Abortions don't end. We know that happens because that was America just 40 years ago. And it is still true in other countries today. My grandmother was a nurse. She provided pre and postnatal care to poor women who needed help. And that help was information, access to quality health care, and getting information from a trusted source. This new rule is trying to take away that opportunity, and we won't stand for it. We will not allow women's health care to be used as political chum for red state elections. Women are not bait. As a board member of PPLA and as a womanist, I am proud to stand here today with Attorney General Xavier Becerra and my colleagues from the Democratic Women's Caucus to oppose this unfair, punitive, and unconscionable ruling. You can bet that we won't stop. And now let me bring forward Crystal Strait, president of PPAC.
Thank you so much. And it's been 500 days of constant attacks on women, and we've seen that. And the Attorney General mentioned the birth control mandate that was an attempt to roll back, but it's attacks on our patients that are immigrants, attacks on our patients in the LGBT community, attacks on our patients that demand environmental justice. And after 500 days of not thinking worse could come, worse has come. And what we've seen in these rules, that it's very clear, it is a gag rule. It is, as much as the sky is blue, it is a gag on physicians and providers from making sure that patients know what their options are. It is very clear in these rules. It is just a basic attempt to end access to safe and legal abortions. In California, for Title X, what we're talking about is 1 million low-income women that this is their only path for birth control, for cancer screenings, for sexually transmitted disease testing. This is their path to basic health care, and somehow that is threatening people in D.C. At the same time, I come with very dark news and thoughts. And I'm surrounded, though, by some of the strongest champions around the country and the reassurance that California will not only survive and find a pathway out, but as our Attorney General has said many times, we will not be a spectator. We will not only just protect the million women here in California, but we will make sure that we are standing up for everyone around the country. That is why today we are joining with our sisters and brothers and whoever wants to come out in Boston, in Kansas City, in Dallas, in New York City, in Chicago, yesterday in DC, just to make sure that Trump administration knows we will not be distracted. We will not let this fake news cycle that he's spinning distract any of us from what's at stake and what's at stake for women. So thank you so much. And I think on behalf of Planned Parenthood and all of our patients and supporters, the fact that this many women are in the legislature coming forward and we have such a strong Attorney General should reassure us, while we need to continue to fight, that we have a lot of people that have our back. So thank you.
So we'll take questions, and I suspect someone will want comment in Spanish as well. But I would ask that as we take questions from the press, if you focus your questions on the subject matter of this particular press conference. If you have questions that relate to other matters, we can handle those after we handle any questions that are raised on this particular subject. Questions?